Well, good evening, everybody. It is Brad
and Christa
with the Big Family Homestead, and it is Prepper Monday.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Welcome, everybody. I hope that you are ready for a completely unorganized live stream.
You know how our live streams usually... No, they're not.
Well, we've made a few changes. I've tweaked a few things, did a little techie stuff, and hopefully everything goes without a hitch.
Yeah, I hope it looks better on your guys' end than it does ours.
What? What looks bad here?
I'm teasing. It looks good. It looks good.
She's just not used to the way it looks.
No, it's too bright for me.
I've made it all like studio-like.
Maybe it's because I'm wearing a white shirt. I don't know.
So anyway, at the end of the show, you let us know. But part of the problem is we're going to have to look at the camera instead of the comments, which are over here. So if our eyes look weird, it's because we're not droopy.
We're looking at comments right below the camera, so it's really kind of challenging.
So tonight we're going to be talking about electricity because we were without it for what, about 3 hours today?
Almost 4.
4 hours today, and we got a lot to talk about. So much to talk about, but let's get cracking before we start. Mama needs to say hi to as many people as she can. On your mark, get set,
all
go.
Right.
And
Alicia,
don't forget Mike DeFuzzy. Yo.
Okay. Alicia, NYC homesteader, Regina, or Regina. I would always say Regina because I knew a Regina in high school. Bev Cramp, Phoebe Long, Joanne Bath Myers, Old Glory Farms, Southern Prairie Homestead, Kimberly Hilliker. Sorry,
You can always just say Kimberly.
Oh, you're right.
Just go with what
Heather.
you know. Go with what you know.
Yeah, I know. Heather, Go and Batty, the Adaptive Maritimer, Jess Yep, She was scared. She was. I hope it wasn't too bad. Kathy B, Katrina's sister, Kimberly Cross, Michigan Daffodil, Ruth J, Michael Webb, and of course, you cannot forget Mike DeFazio.
Hey, and Stu's here. And not the one from The Simpsons, not Disco Stu.
Disco Stu.
This is Stu, the prepper man rock star guy. He's got his own podcast thing going on. They talk about all kinds of cool stuff.
Very cool.
So, Stu, I'm giving you specifically permission to plug your podcast. Nobody else?
No.
Just
Just
Stu.
Stu.
Just
Right.
Stu.
Right. Oh, Bumblebee Junction's here. Hearts, Hearth, and Homestead. That's a mouthful.
At least it's not Heath's Hearth.
Right.
Heath's
Oh my
Hearth
gosh.
and Homestead.
That would...
Tongue twisters.
Oh my goodness gracious.
So, alrighty, guys. Well, officially now it has come to the portion of the evening where you are allowed not only to shamelessly plug your channel, you're encouraged to. And if you don't have a channel, plug channels that you want to have people see. And Christa is going to read them as many as she can. So part of the deal is you got to type like the wind bullseye. You got to type so that she gets flustered and has to say, I can't do it. So on your mark, get set,
Go.
Start typing. Mike DeFazio.
Chris said that they were without lights for 6 hours last night.
Chris, wow.
Yeah, we had a nasty storm just come through.
Yeah.
One right after another.
Yeah.
Today. It was really weird.
4 hours on solar battery backup today. We'll tell you about it more. So I think they're typing. My channel is called Go.
Oh, NYC Homesteader.
So
Last name gets confusing sometimes. Yeah. The Frey Life, North Star Prepsteader, Freedom Homestead, VW Family Farm, Black Pack Homestead.
Ooh.
Tim Drapeau, I hope I'm saying
Drapeau.
Skate Devotional. Recipe Archaeology, Prepsteader Bob. Alicia Drapeau, sorry, I won't get it right.
No.
$5 fines, Prep Family Homestead, Roots and Refuge, North Star Prepsteader, Less Junk, More Journey. There you go.
That sounds like fun.
Starry Hilder, Tiny House Prepper, they're great people. The Self-Reliant Roadshow, and Prepsteader Bob. Simply Starry, Sustainable Living with God. Her channel is a mouthful.
Really?
Yeah. That's Starry Hilder.
Starry, yeah.
Holler Homestead, Survival Russia, Reading Pennsylvania. Oh, hello from Reading, Pennsylvania. Our Half Acre Homestead.
Is it Reading?
I don't know.
It's either Reading or
probably
Reading.
Reading.
Okay.
Anyway, Bandana Grandma.
And many more.
Moss TV, I've not heard of that one.
I think that's another one. Somebody mentioned that, I think, earlier. So welcome, everybody. And if you are not typing, you're still welcome.
Yeah.
You're still welcome. Yeah. So, yeah, we have had an incredibly trying, busy, awesome week.
Yes.
We have to tell you, a lot of you guys have seen the video already, but we have been intentionally hiding secrets from you.
Yeah.
Here's the short version of it. Our son Jonathan, who is in Army basic training, it was flip-flopped around whether or not he was going to graduate because he got wounded, he got hurt. And then they were trying to figure out whether or not he was going to go get a surgery, or they'd send him home, or they'd send him home, they'd come back and get surgery, or it was a mess.
Yeah, it really was.
So we didn't hear from him for about a month.
It was about a month we didn't hear from him in any way. And then he called and said, I am not going to have the surgery. I'm going to push through this, and I'm going to graduate with everybody else. We're like, sweet.
But that's 1 week from now.
Right. That was in a week.
How do we get to South Carolina?
Yeah.
With no money.
Right.
Come on, Puzzle. You're going to ride us there.
Right.
Somebody get the cart. Puzzle's taking us to South Carolina.
No, that would have been a nightmare.
Yeah, so we find out we have a week to get this thing patched together, and we were not able to scrape up enough money to bring everybody with.
No.
So we had some adult friends watching our kids along with Claire and along with everybody.
Right.
And so that's why we kind of kept it a secret. And mainly, you know, the sad reality is, guys, there's a lot of really, really cool people out in the world, but there's some nut bars too.
Yeah.
And so we didn't want to make that an issue for anybody. We just figured, let's just keep it a secret. So I tried to put out a bunch of videos beforehand and then kind of just ride through it and then get back and then make more stuff.
Right. So we were able
what
to...
happened when we were there?
Well,
we got there.
We got to see Jonathan on Family Day, spent the day with him and had a blast. And then the next day was graduation. That was really, really cool. Family Day, there was an amazing a speech given by a retired Major General, Brian Watson. Yeah, and that was really...
It was
really inspiring to everybody. It was really cool. And then...
he's just one of those guys that you want to follow.
Yeah.
You know, you meet those people in life that you're like, I'm going with that guy because he knows what the heck he's doing.
Exactly.
And he was one of those guys that's like, if he told me to start doing push-ups right then, I would have done it.
I would have done it. Right.
I would have done it.
Even though I can't.
So retired Major General Brian Watson, we salute you. You're awesome, and thank you for your service.
Yes. And then the next day was graduation. That was really, really neat, watching all of these soldiers, new soldiers. There was 1,037 graduates.
From one group.
One battalion, I think it's called. Yeah, the whole company, battalion, they confuse me.
Class, phylum, species.
Well, that I got.
Battalion.
Right. So, yes.
I don't know.
Stop.
Felicis.
It's not even a word.
Cardioid, pulmonary.
Cardioid, that's not a word.
Heart.
Stop.
It is.
No.
It is a word.
Anyway. So the next day was graduation and watching these 1,000+ soldiers come marching, I should say. They were not walking, they were marching in step, and it was a sight to behold. It was so neat.
Well, and in the video during Family Day, all you guys, you saw them walking through the smoke, marching through the smoke. But I got to tell you what, in person, they had music blaring, and it was very inspirational.
Yes.
And then to see them come in, and it was like you could just barely see the first group, and then the second group, and then it just all kind of came in as a wave. And it was one of those things where it's just like, you know what? I don't care what the idiots on the media say. I love my country.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? We've got our issues just like every other person/country out there, but doggone it, we love our country, and I'm willing to fight for what we believe in, and I am not ready to throw in the towel and say we can't have our Constitution back. And I'm not willing to throw in the towel and go, hey, crazies, take over. I'm just going to sit back and shut up.
Yeah. Now, in seeing all of that, if I were a young person, I would have enlisted right then and there.
Amen.
And what's even more amazing about Fort Jackson is where he was at. They train over 40,000 soldiers a year.
Out of that one base.
We were just in awe of the logistics that have to go along with all of that. There's over 1,000 recruits coming in every week and leaving every week.
I can't even imagine.
I can't either. You know, when I went to David's graduation 3 years ago, it was a completely different scenario.
Yeah.
There was only 150.
Well, it was a different base and a different training, and I suspect that because of his MOS at the time, it might not have been as Army rough, tough. I think they kind of maybe I don't know that.
I don't know.
But it was like for all the intelligence guys.
Right. So it was.
He was in an Air Force base.
No, not for his basic training.
Oh, for
I'm talking
AIT.
for AIT.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking basic training. They go through the same, routine and
Yeah.
same training, but the graduation was completely different. I mean,
I think they were trained differently.
I don't know, but
Any which way,
during
they're
the
awesome.
graduation, they called out every single soldier's name, and they walked up like a regular high school or college graduation.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that for Jonathan's graduation. It was so strange.
The numbers would not have made
No,
it. There's no way they could have done it.
Hours to go through all of that. So, the graduation ceremony was really actually kind of short. I mean, it was 45 minutes long?
We waited 2 hours.
2 hours beforehand.
Just to get your seats.
Just to get a good seat.
It was a massive stadium. I would say there was probably seating for 5,000 or more.
Yeah.
And it was full.
Yes.
Standing room only.
Yes.
And okay, pause button. We're told that these things are busy. They kept telling us, every Facebook group, every mom's group, the base, they told us you better get there early.
Right.
And they recommended an hour or more.
Right.
And I just was laughing my butt off at like 15 minutes before this ceremony is supposed to start.
Scrambling in.
Well, and you got families of like 10 people cruising up there with their Starbucks. Oh, they had plenty of time to go get their Starbucks.
Oh, yeah.
But then it's like they're freaking out going, I'm not going to have a place to sit. Where am I going to place my Starbucks latte? I'm like, dude, grow a brain. What is wrong with you?
It was, okay, it's kind of like watching the website People Walmart.
Let's just say common sense was out the window. It was out the window.
It really was. It was a very strange, surreal event.
So anyway, that was really powerful. But even more than that was the change that happened in our son, Jonathan. It was not subtle, but it was not like drastic. It was like you knew something was different. And then throughout the day you'd watch him do things or sit in a certain way or I don't know, think about what's going to happen after I do a certain thing.
He'd never done that before.
No. Jonathan's always think,
do.
Jump,
right.
Panic, think.
Right. And then deal with the repercussions afterwards. But no, we went to take him to Dave & Buster's, okay? Because we're like, it's at the mall.
He needs a little downtime. He loves video games.
Downtime. He does love video games. And he's standing there, we're waiting in line.
Yeah, I was gonna get tokens, and I asked him how many tokens do you think you'll be able to use in like an hour?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I really don't think I should.
No.
I'm like, what do you mean you don't think you should?
Yeah.
He goes, it might kind of cheapen or disgrace the uniform, and I don't want people walking by and seeing me playing video games on my graduation day, and it might look like I'm being disrespectful, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Who are you?
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
We were so thrilled. And there was a couple of other times where he made choices that were unlike Jonathan. And we were so thrilled.
More conducive to thinking and reasoning humans.
Yes, his behavior and his attitude was definitely befitting an Army soldier.
Okay. Now, I know a lot of people from watching the names and watching the comments in here. How many of you watching have served in the military? Even if it's Canada or wherever you may be watching from, how many veterans do we have or currently serving in the group?
Right.
So just go ahead and say me and maybe where you served or what you did. That would be kind of cool. Say what your job was.
Right.
That might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so with that, moving on, does he have a MOS yet, Levi? Yes, he does.
What?
Oh, I was just answering the question.
Yeah.
An MOS, his job.
Yeah, I know what it is. Are we telling?
We're allowed to tell.
Okay, we're allowed to tell.
Yeah. He's going to work on helicopter and jet engine
and
plants,
engines,
like the main chunk
Yeah.
of the engines.
Yeah.
So Brad played his tokens instead. Old Glory Farms.
No,
I didn't play at all. Actually,
we didn't. No, we didn't.
came back another day.
We came back the next day when we were waiting for our flight.
Yeah,
We spent what, 2 hours?
that was funny watching us old farts playing modern video games. Like, so what do you do with this? I don't know.
We were playing Halo.
Are we supposed to put a halo on our head? Do you get a halo?
We know what Halo is. Come on. No, we had a blast playing Halo. I liked it. It was cool.
So, Baker Mom, thank you. WH6FQE, thank you very much. I know Scott around here. He is a veteran as well, and thank you very much. Dindo, cool. I flew helicopters. Cool.
Nice. Or
Helocopters.
Helocopters.
Wow. And so Scott and everyone, Kimberly, all of you guys who have served, and ladies, thank you very, very much for your service. We truly are a family who's grateful.
Yeah. All right. Thrifty VG. Yes. He wanted to be a firefighter. However, we were told by his recruiter that those are unicorn jobs. Meaning they don't exist for long, or they're not out there for long. They are grabbed up very quickly because they're a very desirable position. So with his ASVAB score, he did really well. That was the job he picked out of the 20 different MOSs that he could choose. He was like, heck yeah, I want to work on helicopters.
Well, and this was a strange thing too. He was actually thinking about what's going to happen after I'm out of the military. Yep. And then he was like, wait a minute. They told me I could work on these big, gigantic locomotive engines for $80,000 a year, or I could work as a helicopter mechanic or a jet engine mechanic for a lot of money. And he's like, wait a minute. Yeah. That's not a bad idea.
Right. Yeah.
Having the ability to go buy stuff with this thing called
money.
Right.
Right. Yeah. He has a 6-year term that he has to serve. And if he chooses to re-enlist, or if he chooses not to and he comes out to become a civilian again, then he could work for Union Pacific. So that's kind of cool.
Well, and I know a few other folks are chiming in about your service, and again, thank you very much for your service. We are truly grateful.
Yeah. Oh, Donna Terry, yeah, we're live. We've had a really busy last couple weeks, so
we were just explaining.
We were just talking about, so you have to watch it again because I can't go through it again.
Okay, so other cool stuff though, and then we'll get to the bad stuff, and then we'll actually get to the topic.
All right, so let me real quick. This month is probably the craziest month
we've had
since we moved here. Actually, on August 8th will be 2 years. Will be our 2nd anniversary here in Wisconsin, and we are loving it. So
Semper Fi, Southern Prairie.
This month is absolutely nuts. We're home this week. Then what?
Well, we're not. Let's play it one day at a time.
One day at a time.
So, but another really, really big thing happened. Some of you know.
Let me show a picture.
You're going to show a picture? We'll find the picture. We are now officially grandparents.
Yes.
David and his lovely bride, Brooklyn, they had a baby named Colt Xavier. And, oh my gosh, he is adorable.
Ready?
You got to show him? Watch out for your drink there.
Yeah. There's the baby. There's our son, David, and his little baby.
And he's serving in the military right now, too.
Yes.
And where's that one that's closer up? Oh my gosh.
This one, it's a video.
But guys, show it quick.
Oh, I can't.
Turn it quick. Look at that. Look at that cutie little baby. So now I guess we get to be the crazy grandparents that find random people on the street and force them to look at our personal pictures of stuff.
No, we won't do that.
You already have been.
Uh-uh.
You tell everybody, like, hey, you come here.
I did not.
I'm going to be a grandma.
I did not. So I did hold a baby at church yesterday just because I needed to get my hands on a baby.
And there's something about that new baby smell. I'll tell you what,
Love it.
guys. Somebody out there who's wicked smart with your chemistry set, figure out a way to bottle that fresh baby smell, and you will sell millions and millions and millions of dollars worth to lonely guys. You want to know why? That's chick attractant. That is chick attractant.
Oh my gosh.
Be like, they just smell it. It's like shark blood in the water. They're drawn to it. Bottle that new baby smell.
Oh my goodness, yes. Everybody, he is absolutely adorable, and so I cannot wait to get my hands on that little one.
Scoop them up. We're trying to work on that right now. We don't know what's going to happen with that.
Right.
But so Gramps and Grandma or Mima, we don't do Mima.
No, we don't do that. I am Grandma, and will always be Grandma.
Yeah. So I don't. Yeah. Bree.
Oh yes, it was a boy. The baby is a boy.
Oh, sorry. Well, yeah, I guess. Well, I assumed people would think Colt would be the name of a guy.
Yes, that's true. That is true.
So that and
there, see, David says I just showed 100,000 people our grandbaby. Christy, you just showed 100,000 people your grandbaby.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
No kidding.
So you're covered. I'm covered.
You're covered for the week.
Yeah. Puppies are also chick bait.
Puppies are chick bait. There's that little smell.
That's funny.
And
that is really funny.
So all right, guys. Other stuff. I think, doggone it, we've spent half the evening just talking about stuff.
It's okay. It's good stuff.
Oh, another big thing. The cookbook.
The cookbook.
Do tell.
The cookbook is out and it is complete. We released it last week.
Right before we left.
Yeah, last week. So there is no duplicates, so they're different cookbooks. Actually, I take that back. There is one duplicate recipe, but that was because I was giving the recipe for cinnamon rolls. So the Amish white bread recipe had to be in there. Because if you didn't have the first cookbook, then you'd be lost.
I think we need to back up.
Why?
We got a new cookbook out.
We do have a new
What's the name of that cookbook?
I forgot.
You forgot?
I forgot.
Are you kidding me?
No.
She's got baby on the brain.
I really honestly do have
She's
baby
got
on the brain.
baby fog.
Yeah.
Honey, it's New Homestead Classics.
No, it's not. It's New Homestead Treasures.
Right. Right.
Oh,
if only I could cook.
heavens.
Donna Terry, we can show you how to cook.
Yeah, no kidding.
Hey, show them the picture on the front.
I was
It's
gonna.
your wallpaper, isn't it?
Yes. I could show them my wallpaper.
Oh yeah, it's right there. Oh, there you go. That's the picture that's on the front cover.
Yeah.
Huh? Some orc standing next to a beautiful woman.
Oh, funny. That's funny.
Hello from 10 Benders, 51, Arkansas. Hey, Jerry, how's it going? All right, so tonight we really want to talk about power. Here's the thing. There was a nasty storm that came through here. And we spent a total of 4 hours without power.
Yeah.
And, fortunately for us, we're a little more equipped than the regular household. We've got a couple solar powered generators that are all in one boxes, and we can move those around and use them. We've got some regular gasoline generators and bigs and smalls. And every once in a while, for us, a power outage is kind of nice.
Yeah. Because
it's like, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, we need to make sure this is clean, this is ready. Where are those flashlights? Where's all our solar lighting stuff? And
where's our candles?
Checklist. Lighters. And so it's good to dust those things off and to make sure you're ready to go. What would happen to you? Well, let me ask you this. In all seriousness, do you think that if the power was out for more than 2 days, you would be able to still maintain your life, minus things like the internet?
Yeah.
Would you be able to maintain life? Would you be able to comfortably eat? Comfortably sleep? Maybe get around the house without banging into things at night?
Yes.
Is there enough gas to power that generator?
No.
Do you have a CPAP machine?
Oh yeah. Right.
We don't.
We don't have a requirement for that, but I know a lot of folks do. And if there's no power,
A CPAP machine is life or death for some people.
Yep.
How about medical equipment that, I mean, when Grace was born, oh man,
yeah, we had her on heart monitors. She had a feeding machine. I think that was all that we had at home. She didn't have any breathing apparatus at home. So, it was, she had a heart monitor, which we had to keep going all the time. And living in Florida during hurricanes, we had to have a backup generator.
Right.
And then her feeding machine, she was on continuous feeds all night long. So that she could continue to digest it. She wasn't able to digest a large bolus at one time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and Tina's saying, I have a CPAP machine, can't sleep without it.
Yeah.
It's these moments where you get a nice power, I'm saying a nice power outage.
Yeah.
I think if it's a short one, I think it is nice. It makes you aware of the holes in your preparedness.
Exactly.
And we're not talking about like digging a hole and making a missile silo and going crazy and thinking the booga guys are coming to get you. I'm talking about the real life reality that our power grid is very old. Now, whether there could be an issue with solar flares, which there could be, whether there would be an issue with a nuclear meltdown, which there could be. And we're not talking about living in fear, guys, because we're not about fear. We're about being prepared. And when you have knowledge and faith and ability and the right tools, fear goes out the window.
Right. We always say prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. If you are prepared for the worst thing that's going to happen, everything will be fine.
Yeah. Wait a minute. On our rural land, we have a hand pump on our well. Southern Prairie, yes. And you know what? That is one of the things that I want to get. We have a well here, but I don't have the crank pump that if the power goes out, we do have solar power that we can use to power the actual electric pump. But I'm trying to think more long term, and that's what I want to talk about a little bit. What happens if it's more than a couple days?
You're losing freezer. You're losing your
Food.
freezer food. Your freezer foods. You're losing all your stuff in your refrigerator.
Yep.
For us,
if it ain't canned or boxed, it's gonna go bad.
Right. And also, we can't milk the cow easily. We could hand milk her. However,
will hand milk her.
She
doesn't like it.
She doesn't like it. She's a pill.
She's a cow. She'll do what we say.
I understand that. She will do what we say. She is no.
You will.
The problem is, it's been over 2 years since I've hand milked, and when she was at the end of her lactation before she had Buttercup, I was like, okay, she's not giving us very much milk. I'm going to try and hand milk her. My hands cramped up so quickly. It was sad, honestly.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that when Dottie has her calf, we'll be able to retrain our hands.
I think we're going to have to get more used to it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because the reality, guys, is even if things keep going just hunky-dory, our power grid is on the verge of, I'm not going to say verge of collapse, but all of the stuff that was built, think about how old this stuff was built. 50s, 60s, 70s. Right. The infrastructure is, a lot of it was not designed to last this long. You've got nuclear power plants that were designed and built 20, 30, 40 years ago, and they didn't have a plan for upgrading them. And they don't have a plan for upgrading them. So in my mind, it's kind of like, okay, how do I make sure that we have basic things? Now, I'm not talking about extravagant things, but I will say this. This was kind of funny. Today, when the power went out, I'm like, not a problem. Go get the solar power generators. And I just sat one here, and I was video editing and filming.
Yeah.
I had my computer on, I had my lights on, I had everything on. I was connected to the internet.
Yeah.
Because our internet is not based on wires.
Right.
It goes through phone line,
Right.
like cell phone
No,
line.
cell phones, yeah.
And so for me, it was just kind of fun. I'm like, I kept looking at the thing going, surely it's got to give out soon, because running my computer, I built my computer, and it takes a lot of power.
Yeah.
It's like running a hair dryer.
24/7. Well, no, not 24/7.
As long as you have it run.
Yeah, he's got it on 12 hours a day.
And I ran it for at least a solid 4 hour and 40 minutes. Would you think maybe more?
No, it was almost 3 hours you had it going.
Time flies when you're having fun editing video for you guys.
Right. It was, I was shocked. And you ran it down to what?
27%.
Yeah.
Which you probably shouldn't do. No. But, hey, what's up? There's a...
This is how we rock.
Yeah. Come on, Alex and crew.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barry.
We're talking about the milker, and Scott saying that we could milk her using the Ford tractor.
Yeah, and I was going to get to that too. Hey, by the way, if there's a Santa Claus out there, and I know you're not real, but if there is, a nice PTO generator would be quite the thing. If you guys live where there is farmland, then there are tractors. And where there are tractors, a lot of them have what's called a PTO, which is
a power takeoff.
It's a spinny thing on the back of the tractor that you don't want to ever get near, because it will rip your limbs off.
Yes, it'll wrap up your clothing, and it will
tear you to bits.
It will tear you to bits.
It's a spinning wheel of death. However, you can use it. You can use that spinning wheel of death to do many, many cool things.
SWD, spinning wheel of death.
You can use it to cut hay. You can use it to bale hay.
You can use it to rake hay.
You can use it to lift things.
You can use it to saw wood.
Yes, you can. You can use it to generate electricity.
Yes.
And so, don't go there, Dan. I'm with you. Funny. Shh. Even though we know. We don't want to ruin it for anybody.
Too late. You already did.
I did not.
You did. Oh my goodness
Tina,
gracious.
as long as the tractor starts in the middle of winter, ain't that the truth?
Yes. Yeah.
However, our 4-8N has been stellar.
It has been rocking all summer so far. And I think we might actually end up storing it in the garage over the winter.
Oops.
So that we can run it.
Oh, those cats and bags. Sometimes they get out of there. Just run amok. Cats, bags, sometimes they get out of there. What could that possibly mean, honey?
I don't know what you're talking
The cat's out of the bag.
Oh.
Work with
really
me, sister.
Blonde
Work
under
with me.
Here.
Work with me.
Yeah.
Work with me, sister.
Oh my gosh.
So, okay, back to the real question. Power. What do you really need?
Water.
For electricity, I mean. What do
Water.
you really need? Do you would like to have power at night? What did people live like 100 years ago?
They went to bed when it got dark.
Yahtzee. They did.
And they woke up when it was light.
Right.
Except in the wintertime. Because in the wintertime, there's less light.
Here, they just slept less. They slept less.
Yes, Stacy. Yes.
Stacy, don't. You're going to make this worse for everybody, okay?
There's children watching.
M. Joan, Brad, does it glow in the dark? The computer. No, it's like, it's a computer.
That's funny.
So, okay, Alicia, Brad, how long is tap water safe to drink and use after losing power? I'm not sure I understand the question. However,
we have well water.
Right.
So when I say what do you need, when you asked what do we need, when we don't have electricity, we need water.
Okay.
Our well pump doesn't run unless there's power. So when you go to turn on the faucet, there's nothing.
Right. So for us, that's one of the things I really want to get. They make hand pump, crank pumps that go right on the wellhead outside, in that if there's no power and you don't have another way to do it, you can get water pumped up.
Yeah.
Now, the question I have, being up here in the great white north of Death Snowville land of Narnia, where the witch reigns supreme.
Where it's always winter and never Christmas.
No, Jesus is in control.
I'm kidding.
I know.
I'm just quoting the book. Jeez.
Which is great. However, would a thing like that even work here? Or would we be forced to melt snow? Which, melting snow, try it, people. It takes a dump truck load of snow to get a small amount of water. It's really, really a lot. Because think about it, it's all just poofy crystals. And then it melts down.
Crystals, yeah.
And then it still takes energy to do that.
Yeah.
But I wonder, would it even work? So what do you need power for? Light, that's a luxury.
Mm-hmm. That is a luxury. And we have candles. We have oil lamps. So that's not, essential.
Phoebe says they need power for the furnace to run.
Yeah.
So a battery backup of some kind would be immeasurably valuable.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because you don't want to run a gas generator in your basement. They'll kill you.
Right.
The carbon monoxide coming off that.
Right. Yeah, you cannot do that.
Yeah. So what else do we need? What would you really need? The water is essential, but there's probably other ways to get it. Right now, there's streams running in the back of the property.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just run that through our Berkey.
It'd be zero fun. Oh no, it's clean as clean back there. But we would.
Yeah.
A flow jack. Yeah. Just reading some of the comments. But other than that, what is it that you honestly, we're addicted to electricity.
Yeah, we don't need internet or our computers. They're just fun to have.
Refrigeration?
That's a definite need. For those who need
medical
medicine that are refrigerated, yeah, that's...
Was a... Bandana Grandma's in the house.
This is whippersnapper Brad.
Hey.
Yeah. You know what? There was a kid that we were friends with. Well, he's not a kid now. We were all about the same age.
He's a goat.
He would call you Bradley G. Whippersnapper. Did you remember? John.
Yeah, John. Yeah, John Busick.
No.
Yeah. Yep. He was not a kid. He was older than us.
I thought it was the other John.
Yeah, no, this guy named John Busick, he's a really, really talented guitar player who, he was a white guy who would do he'd enter these Jimi Hendrix competitions and he would win all the time.
Yeah.
Because he played just like him. But he was a little bit, hey man, kind of thing. Oh, it's Bradley G. Whippersnapper.
See, I thought John Glenatsis had said.
I took it from John.
Oh, that's okay. That's why I had remembered. I remembered the other John saying it.
Okay.
More. So,
switching gears just a little bit. I want to address what Insane Orange is saying. An EMP would knock out all electronics. Now, anything with a computer chip, that is true.
Right.
Not all electronics, like batteries. Batteries are good. If it's a simple circuit that does not have any computer chips like the integrated circuits, then it should be okay. And depending on, let's pause. For those of you guys who might not know what an EMP is, it's an electromagnetic pulse. The sun does them all the time, but they're generally not huge. Sometimes they're really huge and they'll knock out all kinds of infrastructure. Yeah. And it's happened in recordable history. And so an EMP, it can come from the sun, but whenever, say, humans get involved, a nuclear weapon detonated will also cause an EMP. It can go outward if the EMP, the nuclear blast, happened in the atmosphere. It's going to knock out half the country's worth of electronics that are integrated circuits. For example, my computers would be toast unless I had what's called a Faraday cage, which you'd have to encapsulate the whole house, which that'd be silly.
Yeah, because then there would be no cellular service inside of our house.
Who am I going to call?
Well, no,
If nobody has phones.
Well, okay, but you can't do the Faraday cage around the outside of the house after an EMP.
Right.
You know, you have to do it beforehand, which means there's no cellular service inside the house.
And besides, if everybody's electronics are toast, you can't use them anyway.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if before the EMP happened and you've got this Faraday cage around your house, you don't have access to a phone.
I don't understand where you're going, baby.
Okay, never mind. Forget it.
Maybe it's probable I'm not understanding.
It's possible.
Probable.
Okay. It's okay. No big deal.
EMP. This is when the husband goes, I'm really trying to listen, but I just don't understand. So I'm going to sit and look like I'm nodding and going, hoping that she'll go, oh, okay. When in fact, it's really my misunderstanding. Still love me?
Yeah, of course. You're kidding. Okay, thank you, Amanda. She gets it. It's a girl thing. I don't know.
No, M. Jones got it. Okay, so
Okay, Scott got it. Okay, we're good.
Brad heard the Faraday cages might not really work because you can't properly test it before an EMP. Okay, I have actually tested an EMP on a couple different levels. Mm-hmm. Basically, what a Faraday cage is, guys, is the energy that's coming off of an EMP goes out through the atmosphere, kind of like microwaves. Think of it like microwaves. They're not exactly the same, but think of them like that. And if you have a way to deflect around your coveted, maybe person-to-person walkie-talkies, that would be something of value. Mm-hmm. Maybe a world band radio, just in case somebody else had their stuff in a Faraday cage. Yep. But what happens is it distributes and travels the energy around whatever is on the inside, and then it goes grounded into the ground and dissipates. Mm-hmm. And so if you have a working Faraday cage, you could put whatever you want in it. I've seen guys make their garage a Faraday cage.
They keep their car in it.
They keep all their stuff in there. Mm-hmm. But now you got to keep in mind, it's only going to work with whatever somebody else has. Mm-hmm. So if you have a person-to-person radio, like if you got two of them, and something happens and they're in the Faraday cage, it's going to work. Yep. It's going to work, but only between those two devices. Right. Right.
So, unless somebody else had one in another Faraday cage.
Correct.
There was a couple funny comments.
Go ahead.
I was having a really hard time.
I saw you, baby. Keep going.
Go ahead. One puts Brad in a cage.
Nobody puts Brad in a cage. Like nobody puts baby in a corner.
And then EMP. Yeah, you know me.
Who's down with EMP?
I know that song. It came
out
with EMP? In the 90s, I think.
God, oh my gosh.
Your sister loved that song. It drove us crazy.
See you down with OPP.
Oh my, no.
I
It's a very inappropriate song.
It is. I've never heard it in my life, and therefore I would never know the melody line or how it's sung rhythmically. I would never know that. No. But Barry from This Is How We Rock would know it,
that song,
because he knows all the fat bass lines. Because he's got a bass that lays it down. Because he's a low frequency monster. He's like a beast.
Yes. Okay.
She's like,
Camp Patton says, but the items in the cage have to be insulated from the metal.
Correct.
So you can use cardboard to do that. The electronic device cannot be touching the metal. It has to be insulated. You have to line it with something else.
That is correct. And is it still sitting in there? Did you have the kids move it?
What?
No,
it's still right there.
Right. I'm going to show you something.
Yeah.
Be right back. Now, talk, Mama, talk.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so not a solo artist.
There we go.
Who's down with the deep what?
Bradley Claus is coming.
Oh, stop.
He sees you when you're sleeping.
OPP, other people's potatoes.
Oh, that's other people's potatoes. Yeah. All right. Here is what we call a ghetto
This is
Faraday cage.
Lord.
Bonk. A trash can.
Yeah,
a metal
it's
trash
a
can.
little. It's just a steel bin with a lid.
But you have to ground it.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be grounded to the earth. And then, like Mama was saying, you got cardboard insulating stuff like radios. Radios.
Where's our world radio?
Radios.
Is that the world radio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a world radio.
Yeah.
It's not, the batteries are separate from it. But if you ground this thing properly, like I said, those waves go around it. The energy goes around it.
So how would you ground that?
Stick a grounding rod into the earth and then wire a rod to, or a wire to the actual cage.
Okay. I didn't realize you had to do that.
Yep.
So.
Some people say you don't have to, but I wouldn't trust it. I mean, you want it to dissipate.
Right. Right. You want it to just go around it and go away. Right.
Oh, Phoebe, that's funny.
Has a hip groovy daddy-o.
I think they saw my pants. I was wearing because it gets really hot in here, so I've got these shorts on that are like basketballer shorts, even though I don't play basketball.
Yeah.
They're the stretchy shorts.
Stretchy pants.
Stretchy shorts. But they're so cool. They're sweats. They're not sweats.
I know. Bye, Heather.
But it's like, it's a cool way to be in here because we don't have air conditioning in the house.
No, we have portable air conditioning units, but Oh,
do you want to see the radio?
When the door is close to this room, it doesn't come in here. So
Stu, this was the one we first started with when we were like, we should probably get some kind of world band radio, and I still have yet to figure out how to get stuff past local channels, but I have the instruction manual. I've got
is it in the Faraday cage too?
It does happen to be in the Faraday cage as well.
So it doesn't get lost.
Yes, it does. And I threw batteries in there that are new, but I didn't put them in the thing because I didn't want them to get all corroded.
Right, right.
So, I think it's airplanes are toothpaste tube.
Oh my gosh.
All right, stormy here in Appleton.
Yeah, it was really bad here, and it was heading that way.
Anyway, here's the thing, guys. A Faraday cage can be, a 35-gallon trash can with a sealable, tight lid. You don't want it to be insulated with rubber. You want the metal to touch metal, Right.
The trash can lid and the trash can itself.
Right.
Yeah.
And make sure that's grounded, and then you would be able to have some things, two-way stuff, that you would have an advantage over a lot of people. Think about it. If you had like 4 of the little, 15-mile walkie-talkies that you could talk to each other, that would be invaluable if there was no way to communicate with anybody except, hey, you, get your butt over here.
Yeah, right? That's crazy.
Oh
my goodness.
He's got the beginnings of
a beard for Santa.
Oh.
Get your Santa beard going.
It's got a starter kit. I bought it on Amazon for $24.95.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Got the red pants, and we're ready to go.
And the red shirt. Red shirt.
I have 6 Raspberry Pi. Big tech. I've got. If you guys don't know what Raspberry Pi is, what he's talking about is they're programmable little computers. It's an all-in-one board. It's basically a computer, and you can give it instructions via programming it, and they're really cool. People make all kinds of neat projects with them, whether it's like machines that sort things or robots, but it's a cheap way for somebody to get actively involved in robotics.
Cool.
And they're called Raspberry Pi.
Oh.
Hey, Kathy's here.
Hey, Kathy.
Shalom. So, as that is happening, guys, I think we're just about doggone near.
Yeah.
Tell them about the cookbook again.
The cookbook is out. It's on the website. Totally lost what I was going to say. It's called the New Homestead Treasures.
The new
And
originals.
The new originals.
The new originals.
Those of you who have watched a rock movie before, you would get that joke.
Big tech. Yeah, you guys are right. Oh, you're talking about the grounding rod. That's right. Just anything, and make sure that it gets down into the ground.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, I laid it there, or
yeah, it's got to get into the dirt.
Got to get down in there.
You can get them at farm supply stores, Tractor Supply, Rural King, Fleet Farm up here,
Home Depot.
Home Depot has them. Yeah, anywhere that they sell fencing materials, they should have it.
Hey, actually, you know, I don't want to be done just yet because I'm seeing this comment from Ruby.
Okay.
Ruby says, I have a cargo trailer that is all metal that I plan on using as a Faraday cage. Okay, Ruby, I promise you when I say this, this is not to be harsh in any way, but it's to make a point. If you're not doing it now, what good is it?
Right.
Because it could happen right now. That's why I actually put the lid right back on this thing. Right. Now, true, it's not grounded, but it will be.
Yeah.
But the point is, if the stuff you need is not in that Faraday cage now, then it could absolutely be completely useless.
Right. Right.
You could spend all that time and all that effort and all that money getting all that stuff, and if it ain't in the dang cage when something happens,
because it could happen in 5 minutes from now, it could happen 5 days from now, it could be
5 months, a year.
We don't know. I mean, we've had this Faraday cage for what?
4 years.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a healthy amount of dust on it.
It's got a good layer of dust on it.
Yeah, that'll keep it out anyway.
Yeah, the dust is,
those nasty EMPs. Right. You know, oh my gosh, it was shortly after we started the YouTube channel. I did a parody video on like the typical moron prepper who's just an idiot. And he's talking about his EMP proof dog.
Oh.
You remember that?
Yes.
I wrapped our dog in tinfoil.
You did. Poor Daisy. She had foil all over her. It was quite hysterical, actually.
I'm seeing, Ruby, yes, you do need to ground the trailer.
Yes.
Yeah, you absolutely do, because think about it. The wheels are rubber. There's no connection there at all.
Right.
Would a horse trailer work in a tack room? Moogle Mom. What I would suggest if you've got something like that, because the thing is it has to be completely covered. Not like skinned, but it can have metal that you're gonna have to Google the math, because in all honesty, I don't want to tell you wrong, but the different wavelengths of the EMP require different spacings of the metal. Some people can use mesh. Some people like to use rabbit, the stuff that you make rabbit cages out of.
Oh,
You can totally do that.
Hardware cloth.
Right.
Hardware cloth, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, and so you're going to have to do the math on it, but you can use just about anything you want. I've seen guys, like I said, do their garage, or you can even do something as simple as a trash can and ground it.
Michigan Daffodil's asking, is the lid sitting on top good enough?
Make sure it's sealed, and there is a seal all the way around.
Not a rubber seal, but just
metal.
Just put the whole lid down, just not resting it on there, because it's got to have a good contact around the outside of it.
Hey, Jackie's from Rhinelander.
Hey, Jackie.
Watch out for those nasty, wasty hodags.
That's right. They're scary.
They're getting thick this year.
They really are.
And if you don't know what a hodag is, you better look it up, because it could be coming to a theater near you. And besides, I got to tell you what, people, we're going to make a video on this, but there's a rash of a new kind of cash crop farming happening around here, and I'm not talking about drugs.
No, it's really concerning.
You're going to have to watch in advance. Yeah. How do you do a garage, says Insane Orange. The way I saw it done was they used different spacings of squares of imagine like a hog fence, but smaller, like 1/2-inch squares. You'd use it for rabbit cages or something like that. And they lined the walls. Staple, staple, staple. Chung, 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 chung. Made sure everything was touching all the way down to the ground, and then they grounded it.
Well, how you wouldn't be able to do the garage door though?
They sealed it in. They didn't. It was no longer a garage.
Okay,
it was no longer a garage.
I see. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. In Southern Prairie Homestead, an EMP. Yeah, you're right. It does dissipate almost immediately. The only issue is how close are you? How strong was it? Mm-hmm. All of those things are factors of whether or not. I mean, heck, you could get lucky and stuff's just sitting in a trash can. It depends on how close you are to whatever's going on, mm-hmm. how strong it is.
Yeah,
we don't know. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, yeah. Go ahead.
So, how about a gun safe? Sailor Mrs. 86 is asking, wouldn't work.
Well, a gun safe generally has, if you got a nice gun safe, which we do not. We've got gun safes, but not the really nice ones. Yeah. There's paint on those edges.
Well, and there's a space.
And there's sometimes there's even like a padding so it doesn't slam shut. Mm-hmm. That won't work. It's got to be metal on metal. Campton family compound. Tighter is better. Solid is the best. You are correct.
Yeah.
You're correct.
Right.
Yeah, and that's also correct. You can use a rubber seal. You just have to have a connecting wire from the lid to the bottom. That is correct as well. Okay. It's got to be able to travel. The energy's got to be able to travel like a circuit. It's got to go through it, and then it's got to go to the ground.
Right.
So... Okay, reading. Even an ammo can take the seal out and tape it. But yeah, and you know, I know there are people that say that you don't have to ground it. You got to ground it. Chicken wire, Herman, yes, mm-hmm. But I would stagger it too, so it's not just the big holes.
Yeah, I would do layers of it.
I would.
So it would make your chicken wire spaces smaller.
Insane Orange, I think they're referring to the garage. If you can imagine the wiring going all the way to the ground and being grounded, so you don't have to do the actual floor. From what my understanding is, Google it for yourself. Let's see. 55-gallon food grade drum. You guys are giving great ideas, and keep them coming.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Great ideas.
Lead? I don't. What about lead?
It's not Superman. No.
What?
Ebby.
That's Superman?
Well, Superman can't see through lead.
Oh.
That's why they hide the kryptonite in there to get him.
I see.
Lex Luthor's a punk. I would punch him in the throat.
Okay, family friendly.
Not really. I wouldn't do it.
We don't endorse violence.
Well, Lex Luthor deserves it, but even Jesus loves Lex Luthor.
Happy thoughts.
It's just funny, people.
Yes,
Calm
it is
down.
just funny.
Just funny.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Thank you, Bandana Grandma, for putting that up there. I appreciate that. I didn't even think about that.
Sheepdog Patriot.
Right.
Love that name. I think Sheepdog might be a part of the whole Bear Independent crew. Are you hanging with Bear Independent there, TJ? Mr. T with all his bling? He doesn't have any bling.
No, he doesn't.
No bling.
You're nuts.
Do you have a list of items to put in the cage, Mrs. T? You know what? I think that would make an excellent video, and I think we should. Keep calm and, yeah. Carry on, you're right. Mm-hmm. Drum with a hard drive magnet. Malcolm. Yeah, you could. You absolutely could.
Yeah.
Threadneck says a microwave oven. I am skeptical, okay? I've tested it where you stick your cell phone in the microwave and then you have somebody else call. And sometimes it works. Sometimes the phone works.
Right.
And therefore, I'm like, am I going to trust this? I would say, spend the $30 and get something that you can stick in the garage. Sheepdog, yeah. Yeah, we're trying to do more with Bear. I'm a big fan of Bear Independent and more even so of Pastor Joe Fox. Your whole crew over there, you got my respect. As a matter of fact, there was a time we were trying to get in touch with Pastor Joe to relocate to that area and try to maybe integrate, but it was at a time when he was kind of like cutting off the the invites. And so, and I understand, no bitterness,
Nope.
nothing but love.
All right. Right. Well, we're in a cooler spot up here. I don't think I'd ever want to move south again.
It is definitely.
Yeah. We went when we were in South Carolina.
She almost melted.
I seriously was melting.
Burst into flames.
You know, spontaneous combustion does happen. It is an actual medical issue. So, no, it was just so hot. The first day we were there, it was 102 degrees. And the humidity was just outrageous. I swear, I was melting.
Yeah.
I didn't actually, I really felt very ill in the middle of the afternoon. And we were, you know, in and out of places. You know, we weren't outside all day long, but we were in and out of, you know, we had to stay on base. So we were in the restaurant eating, and then we would go to these tactical places, you know, the commissary and the PX. And it was just, I was not feeling well in the afternoon. I'm like, I've got to go home, go back to the hotel and lay down.
Ugh.
It was awful. Oh,
so,
gosh.
Anyway, guys, I've got a lot of great suggestions from you guys. I think we need to make a new EMP, a cheap Faraday cage video. Something you can do on less than like maybe even $20.
Wow.
And then what to put in it and how to deal with it. Because, you know what? The reality is, okay, you know, we don't deal with fear, but we do deal with reality. And there's a lot of countries and a lot of people and a lot of ideologies that would love to see our country on its knees. And one of the ways that they could do that very easily, I hate to say, is through the power grid, through our devices. Most people are so addicted and connected to their devices, they wouldn't know what to do without their Facebook for 1 hour.
Yeah.
They'd be children wandering in the woods. Hansel and Gretel. They'd be throwing the last bread they had, thinking they were going to get back, watching, and then the squirrels eating it behind them. Now we have nothing, and we're lost in the woods.
Funny.
So, anyway, I think it's a good idea that we be level-headed and calm and think about possibilities.
Yeah.
What if the power didn't come back on for a month, 2 months, a year?
No more YouTube.
Would it be
No more.
would it be like The Walking Dead?
Probably.
Probably. So anyway, guys, I think we're going to call it an evening. But I'm just so grateful that you came and you hung out with us.
Yeah.
Seeing that we have not been able to do the live streams, I kind of expected, like, you know, nobody to show up.
Yeah, no, we're very grateful that all of you are here.
So with that, Mama, why don't you no? No?
No.
She says no.
No.
Okay. We're a family of faith. We put our faith and trust in Jesus Christ, and but we respect that there are people that don't want to feel like they're being talked down to, and we don't do that. But I understand that sometimes people feel that way, and we don't want to force anybody to do anything, especially when it comes to Christ. I don't think Jesus is going, "You will listen to me." I don't think that's the case.
No.
So that said, we're going to say a prayer, and we'd love for you to hang out. But if you don't, we hope you come back next week and maybe give us another chance to talk to you about that anyway. So here we go. Father God, we come before you tonight, and I am just unbelievably blessed and grateful for each and every one of these folks that have come tonight. I know there's people that are watching going, man, is this stuff for real? Why would they really put their trust and their faith in this God? I can't see him. My life stunk. Lord, I just ask that you would give those people a little taste of who you are again. Show them how loving and kind and merciful you are. Embrace them and love on them like a dad who's just absolutely thrilled to be with his children. Show them who you are. Jesus, also, help us to become like Joseph, in that we are preparers. We don't deal in fear. We deal in reality. And we learn skills, and we get our families ready so that when bad things happen, we're more able to help others. We love you, Jesus, and we thank you so very much. Help us to be more like you tomorrow. It's in your holy and precious name we pray. Amen. Well, alrighty, guys. I hope you have an awesome and blessed night.
Yep.
So, peace
Good
out.
night.